Natasha.
Debbie.
The show.
We know you said it with us.
We hope you said it with us. Sexy Poland.
Always sexy.
You have a special little place in your heart for Poland now.
I do love Poland.
For getting me drunk.
And you bought me snacks. Or got me snacks.
They didn't buy you snacks.
No, you bought me snacks.
I bought you snacks. But you made the snacks, Poland. Anyway, if you didn't see that video, go back and take a look when we tried Polish snacks and Debbie got drunk. Hey guys, thanks for being here. We're excited about this episode. And before we get into that, we'd love it if you'd get into the like button.
And also consider subscribing. It's absolutely free. And while you're at it, check us out on Patreon.
True. Okay, so this is, we love doing videos like this. We haven't done many. There hasn't been many that we found. Too many.
No.
Just a couple. But I want to say this before we get into this episode. We know that they're not going to say everything. We did a video on the British inventions, and there were a lot of people like, well, they didn't mention this, this, and this. Same thing with, I think, Sweden. Same, they didn't mention this, this, and this. No video is ever going to cover all the inventions.
Never.
That sucks. So having said that, we know it's not going to be everything, but what is this one?
We're going to take a look at 10
See, there you go.
inventions you didn't know were Polish.
Okay, I didn't even realize that was the end of the video.
It's 10 of them, so it's not going to mention all of them.
No. So let us know in the comments what isn't mentioned in this video that that we definitely need to know about. Please. Whether you think it may not be important, it probably is. We want to know.
It's all important. We like to know what comes from what countries and, what made our world better.
Or not. Not every invention was a good thing.
That's true.
I mean, seriously. Who invented the mirror?
Well, that can be a good one.
I'm kidding. But, seriously, I think this will be a lot of fun to find this out. But again, we're relying on the comments section because only 10 things. I really didn't realize that was the title of this was just 10. All right, enough of this. We're going to learn for the first time ever 10 things that Poland invented for the rest of us.
They've changed the way we live. They come in all different colours, shapes and sizes. We don't always understand them. Sometimes explaining it can be a little difficult.
What are we talking about?
But they've helped us shed light on the world that we previously knew very little about.
Don't use that for that.
All of them landmarks in technology. And they all have one thing in common. They were made by Poles. Oh, kurczę, you might say. I had no idea a Pole invented that. But the English-speaking world often keeps the records. And maybe they were having problems with the spelling, let alone the pronunciation. In this video, we're shedding the limelight on the top 10 inventions made by Poles, at home and abroad.
Okay, here's top 10.
Okay.
Let us know yours.
Number 10, the walkie-talkie.
Really?
Born in Warsaw in 1909, Henryk Magnuski worked as a radio repairman for the Polish military, and he eventually ended up in Chicago. Surprise, surprise.
Cool.
It was here that he would be employed by the Galvin Manufacturing Company,
Never heard
which
of
would later change its name to Motorola.
Shut the front
Whoa.
door.
Leading a team of radio engineers, they developed the SCR 300, the first radio to be used by American forces in Europe. This revolutionary mobile device became known amongst GIs as the walkie-talkie. Nowadays, you can find the walkie-talkie in just about any line of work.
Where do I find her?
I know. Can I find that walkie-talkie, please?
Debbie and I are like, the hell with the walkie-talkies. No offense. We appreciate that, but
I like the tool belt.
I'm not
I think
looking
I
at the tool
need
belt.
This is fascinating, and I love this. So, a Polish person came to America and invented the walkie-talkie. Are you paying attention?
I'm sorry, what?
And
yes,
so
I am in Chicago. Motorola. That's crazy.
yeah, no, it's always fascinating to me. Like, then who does get the credit? The person that was Polish, or
to
the
me,
country?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The man who invented it came from Poland, therefore it's Polish invention.
There you
We
go.
just got to use it too. I'm not rewinding for any reason.
Nowadays, you can find the walkie-talkie in just about any line of work. Take this part-time construction worker, for example, overseeing Magnuski's head. Number 9, Esperanto. Imagine a world where there is one neutral language that everyone can communicate in. A language of understanding and diplomacy that has the power to end international conflicts and foster world peace. That was the dream of a linguist from Białystok by the name of L.L. Zamenhof. While studying in Warsaw as a young man, he began to develop Esperanto, largely based on his knowledge of the Romance, Germanic and Slavic language groups, but with a much simpler grammatical structure that could be easily learned. A simple language invented by a Pole. Who'd have thought?
I didn't.
After more than 30 years of development and several books published, the first World Esperanto Conference was held in 1905.
I've never heard of this.
Since then, the movement of Esperantists has continued to grow, and today there are an estimated 63,000 to 2 million speakers of Esperanto.
That sounds like something from a Spanish culture or
it does.
Mexican culture, Hispanic culture. Esperanto.
Yeah, it does.
That
I vaguely remember
I don't
something of this like a long time ago when just
I
never heard it or seen it.
I have never heard of this in my life. If anyone else is finding this out for the first time, help me feel not stupid here and let me know.
Like I said, if I did, it was just like...
Yeah, I did not. I absolutely 100% have no knowledge of this.
I mean, it does make sense to have one language that everyone could...
Does it?
It does. That everyone could understand? Sure.
I mean, I don't know. I think everybody having their own language is pretty cool. Not everybody, but different languages. But
and if you're in Poland, do you know this?
I'm sure you
have
do.
You learned this?
I don't.
Number 8. The kerosene lamp.
No, you did not.
The story of the kerosene lamp can be traced back to the present-day Ukrainian city of Lviv, which used to be Lwów, Poland. It was here in 1853 that two Polish chemists, Jan Zek and Ignacy Łukasiewicz, attempted to distill alcohol from oil, which at the time was an incredibly cheap resource being extracted in the region. Though they failed to make anything potable, at least not to any self-respecting spirit connoisseur, what they did discover was a clear flammable liquid that burned long and bright, and more importantly, it didn't stink like oil. Putting the liquid called kerosene to work, they asked a local tinsmith to make a lamp with a small tank at the bottom. Thus, the classic shape of the kerosene lamp had been born.
Wow. Okay, first of all, to know that you guys invented that's pretty awesome. But secondly, to hear the story.
Yeah.
We talked about this before. I can't remember what country's things we were looking at. But it was interesting, though, to learn, like, a lot of inventions were accidents.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to make something else or just messing around, and then you end up making something that...
Yeah, the story behind it.
That is a huge deal. I have one in the basement, actually, that my dad gave to me that was given to him from someone else in our family. That is a treasure for me. And, man, that is a big, big contribution right there.
That's just really fascinating. I just never think of where these things actually come from.
Exactly.
Or how they got here.
I know. It's so cool when you find out, though. That is crazy. Esperanto still messes with my head, though.
Tank at the bottom. Thus, the classic shape of the kerosene lamp had been born. Number 7. The railway signal device. Jan Józef Baranovsky deserves the award for the most proactive employee of all time when it comes to his work for the French railway. Fleeing Poland after the failed November uprising of 1830, Baranovsky first worked as a bank teller and cashier in France before he landed a job as a bookkeeper for the National Rail Network.
What?
Baranovsky made several key inventions for the railway system, including the first ever ticket printing machine that could spit out 5,000 tickets an hour, and each with a unique serial number. But at a time when railroad accidents were becoming more and more frequent, it was Baranovsky's automated railway signalling device, invented in 1857, that made the biggest impact on the industry. Prior to this, signalling depended on employees waving flags at various points along the track, as well as their knowledge of when and where the trains were coming from. In an age of increasingly busy railway lines, the Baranovsky signal, as it became known, avoided countless accidents and undoubtedly saved a lot of lives.
Wow.
Number
Okay,
6.
hold on. That's a very big deal. I never even thought about an actual person actually standing out there doing that. It's the things you don't think about, too, like we said. The things you don't think about. What happened before that we had this invention or this invention or this invention? What did people do?
Yeah.
I just assumed that was something that was there when railway was a thing. That was invented along with it.
It's just crazy to think that they used to actually have a person out there waving flags.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really hope they weren't actually killed like that.
Right?
That stupid animation showed. Oh my gosh. What's next, you think? These are all shocking me so far.
The telectroscope. Jan Szczepanik, often referred to as the Polish Edison, made several contributions to technology throughout his lifetime. However, it's his version of the telectroscope, produced in 1898, that is considered to be a landmark in the development of telecommunication. A telectroscope is a scope and lens, amplified with electricity, that can reproduce images from a distance.
What?
Sound familiar?
Yes.
You may not be surprised to know that the term telectroscope was replaced around the turn of the century with the word television.
Son of a biscuit. You gotta be freaking kidding me. As soon as he showed that image, I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
It's a freaking TV.
Wow.
Let's go back to the beginning of that one, because I was clearly just like, huh?
That is considered to be a landmark in the development of telecommunication.
Wow.
A telectroscope is a scope and lens, amplified with electricity, that can reproduce images from a distance. Sound familiar? You may not be surprised to know that the term telectroscope was replaced around the turn of the century with the word television.
Yeah, I did not know what that
Though he
meant.
was certainly not the first, Szczepanik's weird machine, as it was called, is alleged to have been able to recreate colour, which would make Szczepanik the forefather of colour television.
Really?
Number 5, the paperclip. Whilst the
Y'all made the
person
paperclip?
behind the idea of the mighty paperclip has long been disputed, one contender for your praise may be the famous Polish pianist and composer Józef Hoffman. Praised by many as the greatest pianist that ever lived, Hoffman was also an inventor in his spare time. It's been suggested that the inspiration behind the shape of the paperclip was the treble clef, no doubt burned into his brain after hours of reading piano scores.
That's cool.
Hoffman is also accredited for developing one of the earliest mechanical windscreen wipers,
Which
apparently was inspired by the back and forth motion of his metronome.
Stop
Wow.
it. That's such a cool story. It better be true.
Incredible.
That makes sense. Those things drive me nuts, and I hate metronomes too. I hate windshield wipers. They always drive me nuts. I have to have music on. I can't stand hearing them by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And metronomes drive me bonkers. Okay. Big Hoff. That's cool.
Big inventions.
Those look like paperclips.
Those two on
Wasn't it Sweden that we watched the video on that said was paperclips too? I could have sworn that was in there.
It might have been, but
I think it was it?
I mean, he did say it was a controversy of.
Yeah, he did. Am I wrong on this, Sweden friends?
Hoffman is also accredited for developing one of the earliest mechanical windscreen wipers, which apparently was inspired by the back and forth motion of his metronome. Number 4, the electric-powered submarine. Although experimentation with submersible craft had existed since the mid-16th century, it was a Pole who first successfully created a submarine powered solely by electricity. Mechanical engineer Stefan Zhevietsky was taken on by the Navy of the Russian Empire in 1877, and it was here that he made a huge number of developments in submarine technology. The biggest of these came in 1884, when he installed a battery-powered propeller to a one-man submarine that could chug along at a steady 4 knots an hour.
You know, I don't know that much about boats and things like that and submarines, but I sure as hell didn't think they were around in the 1800s.
No,
I did not.
I wouldn't think that.
I'm sitting here like, wait, what? I'm more surprised by the fact that there were subs in 1884,
right?
Let alone electric ones.
Then
I'm
who
like,
did it?
what?
It is pretty incredible.
I love doing this freaking show because even though I may show my stupidity, ignorance, naivete, lack of knowledge in certain things, I do have some in other areas of life. I do get to learn things that are really cool that I would never have learned otherwise. And I think this is just freaking awesome. Now I gotta go back because I didn't hear that part.
The biggest of these came in 1884, when he installed a battery-powered propeller to a one-man submarine that could chug along at a steady 4 knots an hour. While it may sound slightly unimpressive now, this was a major technological advancement at the time, and especially considering the fact that most submarines were still relying on coal power and oars. Outside of submarine technology, Zhevietsky is also the guy who invented the taximeter.
No, bad man.
Number 3,
kidding.
The vote counting machine. Oh look, it's our friend Baranovsky again. The mid-19th century was a time of renewed interest in liberal democracy, and public voting was taken very seriously.
Wow.
Realising the overwhelming task of counting votes, as well as issues of scrutiny and impartiality, Baranovsky conceived the idea that it would be better for a machine to do all the counting instead. No doubt his obsession with numbers was the major motivator behind this, And other machines he patented as well include the gas meter.
That's
Yes, apparently he invented that as well. Number
Dude,
2,
invented everything.
cotton swabs. A cornerstone of modern...
Okay, hold on. So I have an issue with cotton swabs, or as we call them in America, Q-tips,
Yes,
because we get stuck on the brand name.
we have.
They're dangerous. Don't put them in your ears. Not supposed to.
No, you're not supposed to,
Everyone does it though.
including me.
Yeah, I go to the ENT, the ear, nose, and throat doctor. I let her clean my ears professionally, because you're not supposed to put anything smaller than your elbow in your ear.
Well,
I learned that in 4th grade.
you did.
My
learn
4th
that,
grade
didn't
teacher,
you?
because like it's damaging
I guess
and it pushes wax in your ear.
that is what they say.
It's what.
It is
It's
what
not what they
it is
say.
what
It's
happens.
actually what happens.
It is
but
what happens, yes.
I bet I'm like the only person that goes to a doctor and gets mine done like every few weeks versus doing this stuff. Hey, I got a good cleaning there.
Well, cotton swabs are good for a lot of other things.
No, they are, and I use them for other stuff.
Manicures, medicines.
Manicures, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Getting the nail polish
Yeah.
off your
I wonder what they were. Oh, please help us. I hope he tells us what they were actually invented for.
Oh, that, yeah.
Number 2, cotton swabs. A cornerstone of modern hygiene, the cotton swab was developed by Leo Gestansung,
Don't say for
a Pole
ears.
from Warsaw who made the Chicago move in 1912. The story goes that in 1923, Gestansung found his wife, Jutta, applying cotton wads to toothpicks in an attempt to reach those hard-to-clean places. This
was for
became the
ears.
inspiration
Q-tips.
behind the Q-tip, Q standing for quality. But
it?
unlike his wife's toothpick, the Q-tip had 2 cotton tips to allow for double takes. Number 1, the bulletproof vest.
Nah,
Wow.
If you can stop a bullet, you're either Superman or a pole.
wouldn't. Wow.
The first commercially produced bulletproof vest was made by a Polish priest named Kazimierz Zeglen,
priest?
who travelled to the US in the
Why?
19th century.
Well, because he came to the
It was
U.S.
here that he came across the research of a George E. Goodfellow, a physician based out in the Wild West.
Oh.
It was Goodfellow that observed how gunshot victims who had silk fabric against their bodies often had reduced injuries when struck by a bullet.
They did?
Expanding on his research, Zeglen developed a centimetre-thick vest of layered and woven silk that could stop a bullet altogether. He publicly demonstrated his new invention in 1897.
Hold on. A Polish priest comes to America and then tries to help, or not help, but makes a bulletproof vest because of the Wild West.
Yeah.
What in the actual crap?
I mean,
That
that's
is
a story.
right there. That
It-
is a story you heard here, or you didn't.
I'm getting
You heard-
on to this part where he publicly shows it
Yeah,
that it works.
yeah.
And how do you test that?
You let
That's
someone shoot
just-
you. See, they're trying to.
Bullet altogether.
This is
He publicly
insanity.
demonstrated his new invention in 1897. The priest wore the vest, and
that
the
real
assistant fired the bullet. But Zeglen's vest was not a viable product. It was slow to produce. Not to mention the outrageous price
think it's
tag
okay.
of $800, which is
Wow.
about $25,000 today.
Good God.
Enter poll number 2, Jan Szczepanik. I think you've been acquainted.
We have.
Szczepanik, who had been developing automated weaving technology for years, teamed up with Zeglen and managed to work out the whole mass production thing. The bulletproof vest was a huge success amongst the rich and the famous, who could afford the ridiculous price tag that still remained. Most
Really? They
notably,
kept the price tag?
Szczepanik managed to palm one off to King Alfonso of Spain, and the vest saved his life during an assassination attempt.
Wouldn't it just be like a suit of armor, though? Like a knight's suit of armor? Wouldn't that be the first one? No offense to anyone in Poland, but I would think that'd be the first, like, I mean, there were no bullets back then, right? But
Well-
technically, wouldn't that have stopped the bullet? Couldn't they just use that?
Probably technically, but that's something you wear over your clothes, and the vest, the bulletproof vest, that's something you can wear under.
Yeah, but that guy's wearing it over. Right? And he survived as an assassination attempt, but that they kept the price tag that much. 25,000 a day.
Yeah.
What?
Tag that still remained. Most notably, Szczepanik managed to palm one off to King Alfonso of Spain, and the vest saved his life during
That's
an
awesome.
assassination attempt. Archduke Franz Ferdinand is alleged to have been offered a vest, but turned it down. And we all know how that turned out.
Not good for him.
Zeglen and Szczepanik eventually had a falling out over business relations, and although Zeglen never relinquished his authorship, it was Szczepanik's weaving production and entrepreneurship that made his profit greater. So much so, in fact, that Jeglin's contributions are all but forgotten today.
It was a hot
It's
priest,
also
by the way.
interesting to note that over 60 years later, it was an American woman of Polish descent, Stephanie Kwolek, that developed the polymer for Kevlar, the fabric which is used in today's standard issue bulletproof vests. So what
Wow.
do you think of our list?
That was quite fascinating.
You know, I'm mad about one of them, though.
Yeah, you're mad about the Q-tip.
Yep, mad about the Q-tip.
That's what the guy made it for.
That's why I'm mad about it.
Doesn't mean-
I love the invention because like I said, use it for a lot of other things, but did not think it was actually made for that purpose.
It was. Doesn't mean it was good for it. Doesn't mean it's the right way to do it. But
I bet I'm the only one. I bet nobody in the comments is going to be like, "Yep, don't do that." But there was a lot of cool stuff on this list that I would never have expected any of it. At the same time, I want to know the rest. Like, what is the other stuff that he's not telling us that we're not learning here?
Exactly.
So please drop a comment. What other Polish inventions did we not find out today? We'd love to know. Please let us know. Which one surprised you the most?
I don't know that it surprised me, but I really like the story about the bulletproof vest in that it was a priest.
That was
and
crazy.
Then the other guy with the manufacturing, and then later, even a woman of Polish descent that developed the Kevlar for what we use now.
yeah.
I mean, that's incredible.
Let's take a moment to acknowledge how hot the priest was, though. Because I was going to say it the whole time. I kept looking at him like, hey.
Well, let's go back to the walkie-talkie.
Very good looking. That really was surprising, though.
Yeah.
If you guys enjoyed this, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. We hope you had fun with it. Let us know what you learned today, too, and what may surprise you. You know what surprised us. Everything. Hey, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode. Until then, and as always, please love like jazz.
Be as strong as Tyson.
Bye.
Bye.